Hi there, this is Linda Jo Martin, the Book Lady. This is my Friday Reads for December 29th, 2017. And right now I am reading Goliath by Marilyn Robinson in the evenings and Blue Highways by William Least Heatmoon right before I go to sleep. And I have an audiobook that I'm reading, which is called One Day, and I don't know the author's name, so I will just show you the book cover. And so I'm going to talk to you about some books that I have read because of the PopSugar Reading Challenge of 2017. This is actually my web page at my blog. I don't have a lot of the book covers to hold up and show you, so I thought I'd just show you the blog, which has the book covers posted on it. I hope it works. So this is actually the page that I used on my blog to chart my progress on the PopSugar Reading Challenge for 2017. And the first book is David and Goliath. This was actually a book recommended by a librarian. That's what they wanted me to find. I asked the librarian downtown here for a book recommendation, and he recommended anything by Malcolm Gladwell. This David and Goliath is not a Christian book. It is actually a book about large and small enterprises. For example, going to a small college is often better than going to a large college because you'll get more attention from the professors at the small college. The second book on my list, a book that's been on your TBR list for way too long, well, that was this one, 1,000 Splendid Suns. And I had that one on my Goodreads TBR list from the very first day that I started at Goodreads a few years back. I'm not sure what year it was. Finally got to it, and turns out I really love that book. The next one is a book of letters, and I chose the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. It is an epistolary novel wherein people on the island of Guernsey are writing letters to an author, Juliet Ashton, and she's writing back to them, and it was very well done. I enjoyed it very much. It takes place at the end of World War II. The next thing on the PopSugar Reading Challenge list is an audiobook. Well, I actually listen to a lot of audiobooks, and that's why I don't have a lot of these books to show you, because I listen to them on audio. And so I chose for this one The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, and it was amusing. You know, it takes place in a bookstore. The next one is a book by a person of color, and I chose One Crazy Summer, which is a Newbery Medal winner. The reason I wanted to read this one, not just because it's a Newbery Medal winner and I want to read all the Newbery Medal winners and honor books, but also because it takes place in Oakland, California, which is a city that I was born in and a city that I lived in like from 1993 to 1995, I think. Great place. Oakland, California, and these three girls were actually sent by their father in New York, I think, to live with their mother for the summer in Oakland, California. I had mixed feelings about the book because it does portray the mother as being very unconcerned about the girls, actually not even caring about them. She was a damaged person, and the children had to deal with having a mother who was not taking care of them right. So it was kind of sad. Okay, the next one is a book with one of the 4 seasons in the title, and I chose Summer by Edith Wharton. This was not the first Edith Wharton book I've ever read. I find her books kind of challenging because they don't get as deeply emotionally into the characters as I wish they would. A book that is a story within a story. I chose My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman. If you've read any of his books, you know how good they are. I actually have very good memories of listening to this audiobook while climbing Mineral Ridge, which is a long uphill hiking trail near Lake Coeur d'Alene. The next book was a book with multiple authors, and this is Forgive and Love Again by John Nider and Thomas Thompson. And actually, I read a lot of this prior to 2017, but I finished it in 2017, so it's on the list. The next one is an espionage thriller, and I chose Eye of the Needle by Ken Follett. It was well written, however, it was just too violent for me. There were some murder scenes in it that I did not like. I really wish those things weren't described quite as well as some people like to describe them. A book where the main character is a different ethnicity than you. I chose to read Enchanted Air. And I do have that book here. Well, I read it. It was very easy to read through because it was one of those poetic things, not an actual novel, but a series of poems. And it wasn't a novel, it was a memoir about a girl who was half Cuban and half, well, Ukrainian, I guess. So she lives in California, and she wrote this book about her childhood. A book about an interesting woman. I chose actually a romance novel. I didn't know it was a romance novel when I chose it. It's called Bearing Water. I should have known better. I was not completely happy with this. It's the kind of romance novel that really doesn't please me as literature. It was about a girl in Oregon. Can't remember what the problem was there. Fiction about a woman without a memory. Okay, something happened to her. She didn't have a memory. She's in Oregon. So I gave it a try, and well, let's just say it wasn't my favorite book this year. A book set in two different time periods. I chose A Man Called Uwe. A few days ago I made a video and I couldn't figure out how to say his name. Was it Ove or Ova? Well, it isn't either of those. It's actually Uwe. It's a Swedish name. Great book. Interesting characters. I have been participating in a Goodreads group about the PopSugar Reading Challenge, and they chose this one, The Woman in Cabin 10. It wasn't actually a hotel that she was in, though. She was on a cruise ship. Good book, however. A book written by someone you admire. I chose It's Never Too Late to Begin Again by Julia Cameron. She's the author of the Artist Way series of books. Okay, a book you bought on a trip. The only thing I could come up with was a little Christian devotional that I had bought when I was down in Texas last January. And I'm still reading it. I'm only a few pages from the end, so I guess by the end of 2017 I will have it read. A bestseller from 2016. I bought this book, but I did not read it. It's called Salt to the Sea, so you will be seeing it again when I get around to reading it. A book with a family member term in the title. I did How to Pray for Lost Loved Ones. Not done with that one yet. A book about an immigrant or refugee. I read Hillbilly Elegy. Not that he's an immigrant from another country, but he did immigrate from, but his family did immigrate from the hill country in Kentucky over into Ohio. So, then Coeur d'Alene Waters, where did I put that one? A book from a genre that you've never heard of. literary murder mystery. Maybe I should say literary historical murder mystery by Ned Hayes. I do plan to read his other two books, but I don't have them yet, so not yet. A book with an eccentric character. This is kind of a long shot, but I chose Why Does He Do That? It's about men that are abusive. And then a book that's mentioned in another book. I chose Emma by Jane Austen. It was mentioned in The Virginian. And I did not read that one. Okay, end of story. Well, thank you for joining me for Friday Reads today. I will be back soon with another video. See you then. And oh my goodness, just have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Have a wonderful reading weekend. Hopefully you'll get to read some books, right? And I will see you soon. Bye.